Welcome back to another Trade Alts tutorial. This is going to be video number 4 in the Trading Bot series. I'm going to be going over the number one question that I get asked. How do I get started with a small account? So I have exact figures. I have exact settings that I have come up with. I've spent the last 8 hours of my day putting this video together. So I hope that you find it useful and helpful. Let's get to the video. And as usual, here's the disclaimer. Please pause the video, read this entirely. All content is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Nothing is financial advice that's said in this video. And past performance is no guarantee of future results. And if you do like the content that you've been getting, if you like the Trading Bot series so far, there's a couple of things that you could do that would be greatly appreciated, but not necessary, obviously. But one of them is if you just use the link in the description below for 3COMMAS, you get 10% off of your monthly membership fees. If you pay in crypto, which I know a lot of people don't, but if you pay in crypto, 3COMMAS actually gives me a little bonus. So I would really appreciate that if you did that. If not, totally okay. And also, there is a referral link to the exchanges in the description below. So Binance, for instance, if you trade on Binance, use the link in the description below. You get 10% off of your trading fees back. And that's every single trade that you take, with trading bots is massive. Like, there's a lot of trades that happen, obviously, and you would literally get 10% off of every trade that your bots make, which kicks back quite a bit of money to you. And I also get a small portion of the trading fees, and it doesn't cost you anything for doing that, just simply using the referral link. For Binance US, for USA residents, there aren't trading fee kickbacks at this time, unfortunately. I wish there were. I would definitely do that. But it's still, if you use the link in the description below for Binance US, it definitely helps support this channel, and I would greatly appreciate that. I spent 8 hours today putting this video together. Didn't get to do any trading today, but I saw a lot of people in Discord and Telegram that really needed help, and they really need this video. So I wanted to definitely take time to put this together, because it's really important to me that you guys are as informed as possible. You have as much information as you possibly can. That way you guys are making the best decisions for yourselves. And real quick, before we get into the video, I do want to cover something that I covered in video number 3, so the previous video, and that had to do with new listings. So Binance actually had a new listing last night, and I'm thankful for one of the members in Telegram who reminded me that this was taking place. But Alice listed on Binance last night, and with these new listings, I explain how volatile and how, if you don't have a lot of experience trading new listings, it's very hard, and it's very risky to do so. But I just wanted to show you what a trading bot can do when you have crazy volatility with new listings, like we've seen in the prior examples. But Alice just happened last night, so I wanted to share it, and you can see that on my bot right here. I should highlight, you can follow my mouse here, I completed $267.55 in profit, and that is literally in one day. It's actually not even one day. Alice was only listed since it listed, let me think. So Alice, during that's for 18 hours of price action. So that's not even a full 24 hours. In 18 hours, Alice made me $267 in profit. So obviously I ended my day at $548.60 in profit. That's, and I would say a good fair amount of that was due to the exchange listing with Alice being listed on Binance. So again, I'm happy to discuss this more in Discord or in Telegram if you're in those channels and you're interested. But the next time that we get a new listing, this is definitely something that we could do together if you're interested, and I can try to help walk you through that and kind of how I set my bots up and how I get ready for it. But the new listings that I have done, incredibly profitable, but you have to know what you're doing. So I did want to point that out, since that was a recent example that I just talked about, obviously, in video number 3. So to get into the video, I want to remind you of something that I covered in video number 2. So this is just like, because we're going to be literally talking about the same things, except we're going to get into, more detailed content. I want to remind you, when we start talking about the actual numbers, as in like how many dollars are going to go into the bot, how much do you allocate for this, what are your settings, I want to remind you real quick of these particular methods and kind of the definition, right? So it's the safer method that I covered in video number 2 is that you have your bot, it's fully covered, and you have enough funds to cover your bot with base orders and all safety orders filled. Okay. Typically, you make less money if you do that because you're likely to be running less bots. But it's safer because you can literally let your bots get completely maxed out and you have enough funds in your account, in your trading account, to cover all of that. So that is what I mean when I talk about the safer method. I will get more into that here shortly. And then obviously a riskier method of doing things is letting your bots be partially covered. So you don't have enough funds immediately available to cover the base order and all safety orders being filled. Typically, when you're running these bots being partially covered, you make more money, but very obviously higher level of risk. So I want to make sure that I'm clear on that before I moved on. So this slide is so important for you to understand. I have said this in every single video. This is the 4th video that I've said this, and I'm going to keep saying it in every trading bot video that I make. But it is so important to me, in my opinion, to start out slow until you get the hang of it. So trade smaller amounts than you are able to trade, right? So if you have even like a $20,000 account or something like that, like I would just be careful putting every single penny to work or running partially covered bots like I just talked about. It's really important that you, until you get the hang of it, you know kind of how the market flow goes with your bots and you have some data, right? You're running your bots and you have time to see how are they reacting in certain situations. We had a Bitcoin took a bit of a dive today. And when that happens, a lot of times you will see the entire market move with Bitcoin, right? So when Bitcoin's going up, typically altcoins are doing just fine in the dollar pairing. But when the Bitcoin goes down, that's, it's also an opportunity, like you can see in this screenshot. So this was yesterday that I shared this in Discord before Bitcoin had any of this down move that we saw. And there's a reason why I shared it. But this is a screenshot. The actual screenshot that I'm sharing in Discord was from February 23rd. And if you go back to February 23rd, you can look and see what happened in the market. And that was one of the days where Bitcoin, it was at the lows. Like it had a really big down move. Everybody was panicking. But somebody asked me in Discord, what happened to your trading bots on those days where Bitcoin dropped? How did your trading bots do? So I screenshotted this, which this is from my Facebook page. This is actually my personal. That's why you see it's kind of greened out up at the top, just because it has my name. It is from my personal page that I share with my friends. So almost $2,000 in profit for doing nothing. Video coming this week. I was telling them like I'm gonna teach anybody who's interested. I'm gonna start putting some stuff together about trading bots. But the point is, you can see from that day on the 23rd, right? So it's really to the 20 seconds price action. Total profit was $1,166. That was my highest profit ever. So how is that possible when Bitcoin had, it dumped like considerably? Well, it's really simple. You have volatility. And with the dollar cost average method, if you're in video 4 right now, hopefully you've watched videos 1, 2, and 3. You already know about the method that I'm talking about. But there's a reason why my settings are the way that they are. And it's so that it captures these vicious down moves, up moves sometimes, right? The volatility, when it's high, that's when your bots make the most money. But you have to understand how your bots work, though, and not get overly extended, because if you are overextended, you're going to pay the price for that. And this is why I am sharing this information and why I'm sharing this particular screen, because I posted this before the Bitcoin move last night. I said, look at the date, shared that with some friends. Am I scared for Bitcoin dropping? No, I actually look forward to it. But People with more aggressive settings could be in for a rough time. The reason why I said that was because I have seen some people's settings that they've been using or that they've been testing out, and I knew that if you have this kind of a move, it's going to really push the limits, right? And in some cases, again, like, I don't know exactly how everybody's trading. I don't know every single person's settings or whatnot, but when I see certain screenshots of settings and stuff, I can get a general idea of if that's likely to be if it's likely to be okay, or if it's good, if it's on the riskier side or whatnot. But I have seen some that, like, and just to be really upfront, there's going to be, I do share some, kind of riskier settings here in the video in a little bit, but that is like ultra safe compared to some of the stuff that I've been seeing. So just a reminder, please, I know I'm taking quite a bit of time to say this, start out slow until you get the hang of it, because it's really important. And I do not want anybody to lose money when using their trading bots, because it's not necessary. So please make sure that you pay attention to that. So all the examples that I'm going to be using are going to be based off of a $2,000 account. So if you have a different size account, obviously that's kind of, I just picked, basically there were people who were telling me, hey, what about for this size account? What about for this size account? So like the averages of kind of what I've seen is about $2,000. That's why I picked that number. So I could try to satisfy as many people as possible. Now, if you have a different amount of capital available, whether it's smaller or larger, you can simply use the information that I'm sharing with you to adjust your account size. So you can tweak the information that I am sharing, right? So again, this is all based off of a $2,000 account. If you have a $20,000 account, then I'm not saying to 10x what I'm talking about here, but you can change some things, and it's just going to give you a general idea of what you could do with your account size. For small accounts, because that's what this video is kind of focused on, I really would say to take profit in USD or dollars to grow your account. Like, I take all my profit in crypto because that's what I'm interested in growing. That's what's growing at this point. That's what's moving. But if you have a smaller account, you want to be able to grow the power, the trading power that you have as well, right? So when I'm taking all of my profit in crypto, my USD account isn't growing at all. And in fact, it's slightly, and I have covered this in previous videos, but it's actually like getting, pennies taken off of every trade. But if you're just starting out and you have a smaller account, I recommend taking your profits in dollars or USDT. That way you can grow the size of your trading bot account, and that overall over time will help you weather, more dangerous price action, I guess I could say. And lastly, video number 3 that explains how I would likely pick altcoins to trade. This is, again, it's another question that I get quite a bit. So if you're wondering what altcoins that you would trade in your $2,000 account, what I'm going to be talking about here shortly, go back to video 3. If you don't remember, watch video 3 again. And it's that criteria that I would use to pick those altcoins. So the first method, the first setting, the first kind of setting that I want to go over with you is, I call it the safer method. But to be clear, nothing's really safe in crypto, okay? But as far as the stuff that I'm going to be going over in this video, and I have seen so far in Discord and Telegram, this is definitely one of the safer options for you. So what's one of the pros? Well, the safer method allows you to make sure your bots are fully capitalized and you can run without ever needing to check them. So this is like, if you like passive settings, right? You don't want to be bothered with your bots every day. You don't want to be checking on them all the time. A method like this is good because again, your bots are fully capitalized, right? Like that's about as good as you can be. Now, the cons. Well, you're not really using your capital as effectively as you can, right? And like, what's the odds of all of your safety orders being filled? If you have, 25, 30 safety orders, what's really the odds of that being filled? I'd say that it's really low. So that being said, wouldn't it be smarter to put more of your capital at work and have, have that kind of risk sitting there of like, if all of my orders do fill, I could be underwater. But again, what's the likelihood of that happening? So that's completely up to you. But in the safer method, you're fully covered. It's not, again, if you like conservative ways of doing things, if you like, again, you want this to kind of be a passive thing, you don't want to even really think about it, you just want something kind of running in the background, this could be a good method. And for your settings here, so I'll just highlight this with my mouse. So this is what I'm going to, well, actually, I'll talk about this first. I'll start up here. So you would have 4 bots. And again, this is assuming this is going off of $2,000. Okay. So if this is your account size is $2,000, these are the settings that I came up with that you could potentially use. If you have more money, you could tweak this however you want, or less money, tweak this however you want, but $2,000, that's kind of what we're going off of. So the number of bots that you would have is 4. And again, this would allow your bots to be 100%, basically 100% covered in case of a crazy price drop. Your base order would be $10. So if you go into 3COMMAS and you're setting your bot up, I'm literally giving you the settings to put into 3COMMAS, okay? So your base order would be $10, which is the minimum. Your safety order would also be $10, which is the minimum. So using the equal safety order size to your base size, it won't bring your average entry down though, as effectively as having a larger safety order would. So that's one kind of drawback to this, is that your average entry won't fall as quickly to get, to allow the bots take profit price to fall faster as well. That way you can get out of your trade. And in this case, I'm using 25 safety orders, which again is different than my previous videos. So I made this video just for you guys. I literally spent 8 hours. I know I already said that, but I spent a lot of time like going over different scenarios and really trying to crunch these numbers for you guys. So what can go wrong? Well, like I said, if all 4 bots max out their base order plus 25 safety orders, there's there's likely some crazy event that's happening in the overall market. And, which, we all have, if that were to happen, we probably all gonna have bigger problems than worrying about our trading bots, because it's probably something that's, not only market wide, but you think like Corona event, something like, it's going to be something massive like that. So like I said, that's probably something we'd be worried about other things at that point. But the probability of this happening is incredibly low, I would say, but you definitely can't rule it out. So that's why, again, you're fully covered with this method. Up to you if you use it. And then using this for even smaller accounts. So if you're trying to run this with less than $2,000 being fully covered, I don't recommend it on using these particular settings. And again, the thing about 3COMMAS is they require a $10 minimum for your base and safety order. So you can't go lower than that. So maybe there's another platform that's out there that I could cover in a different video series or something that might be useful for really small accounts. But for 3COMMAS purposes, I wouldn't run anything less than 4 bots, especially because like if you're not running at least 4 bots, you're not going to be really making daily profit. You could be stuck in trade for days and not, it's just not something I would really recommend. And then now I'm going to go over here to what the other settings are so I can explain those to you. So the take profit is 1.5%. You could adjust that as you see fit. I use 1.5%, pretty standard for the majority of my bots. But I mean, you could drop it down to 1%. And if you did that, your bot would get in and out of trades more frequently. So that's also something to consider. Again, you're using 25 safety orders. Your safety order deviation, okay, right here. So again, I'm giving you every setting. If you go back to 3COMMAS, and again, if you go back to the first 3 videos, I literally show you like the 3COMMAS platform, right? But you would be using a 2.4% safety order deviation. So 25 safety orders times 2.4%. I think that's still 60%. Which is the same that I use for my safety order deviation overall. And that's just saying, like, for your bot to be completely filled, all safety orders, and for you not to take profit, you literally would need a 60% drop with no bounce. And while that's possible, it's unlikely, and I haven't come across it yet myself, but it's possible. So I mean, I just want to say that your safety order volume scale is always 1.05%. Basically, your safety order as your safety orders increase in size, right? So if your first order fills, then your second order will be 5% larger than your first order, so on and so forth. And if all your safety orders are filled, it would cost you around $488 a bot, which is, again, 488 times 4 is almost $2,000. So that's why I picked this particular amount of bots for you. So that is the safer method, fully covered. It's the most conservative, but probably not the best in terms of trying to, which is the point of everybody using trading bots, is trying to like make money, right? Trying to like make as much money as possible. But this is definitely the safest, most conservative option that I could think of when it comes to trading bots. And so here is the riskier method. Okay, so this is kind of similar to how I actually run my bot. So this is a little similar, I guess. It's kind of more similar than the other one for sure. But number of bots, you have 6. The base order is $10. That's the minimum again. Your safety order would be $15. So it's 50% larger than your base order. It's not the 100% or double that I prefer, but it's still an improvement from not having an increase. And you're also using 30 safety orders. So what can go wrong? Well, if there's a point where all 6 bots are 15 safety orders deep, so your base order plus 15 safety orders, you could run into capital issues. So this is risky. If it's too risky for you, you can lower your safety order amount back to $10. And that would give you an average of 20 safety orders instead of 15. So again, I don't think it's very likely that that happens, but it's certainly possible. So if you want to be kind of more on the conservative side, you could change your safety order to $10. And that would give you 20 safety orders across the board pretty much for you to fill, which is crazy. I mean, that's quite a bit. I haven't really seen that happen yet. Doesn't mean it can't happen. But what's some of the good things about it? Well, you're utilizing more of your capital at a time which increases your likelihood of daily profits being worthwhile, right? So this is you actually having more of an opportunity to use your capital to make money. And if you have available funds that you can deploy if bots are needed, like this is definitely something that I would encourage people to understand and make sure that you have like additional funds in case things go sideways, right? So like if all your bots for some reason do start to get like really full, like keep some funds on the side that you don't use. This is why I say like don't go crazy and go all in until you understand how your bots work. Definitely like have some funds set aside just in case you need them, right? Hopefully you don't, but in case you do, they're there to help kind of like bail your bots out if you need it. So what's one of the bad things? Well, higher risk of your bots running out of available funds if there's a very large correction in the market. And again, I haven't seen it get to the point where I'd have something like 20 safety orders across the board, but it's possible. And that's just something that like I would want you to keep in mind. So the settings that you would use, again, your base order is $10, your safety order is $15. And then coming over to your take profit percentage, again, I'll highlight it here, this area. So your take profit, I would probably put it at 1%, just again, so that you're in and out of trades faster to kind of lower the risk of you being stuck in a trade, right? If it's set at 1.5%, I've seen this happen with my bots plenty of times where it will come up to like 1.25%, 1.4%, it's almost there, and then it'll drop down and I'll be sitting in my trade for longer. So setting it at 1% just helps you get in and out of trades faster. Obviously, you're making less money per trade, but it's kind of, again, when you have a small amount, you should really be worried about is building your account, right? Slower. If it takes, slower is better sometimes. If you're taking less profit per trade, but your risk is dropped, there's less risk, I'd say that's probably a better idea. 30 safety orders. Safety order deviations 2% and 1.05% safety order volume scale, which is the same. And this is literally my settings except my take profits 1.5. But and then if every safety order was filled, you would need $1,007 to cover all of your safety orders being filled. So here is a riskier method number 2. This is kind of like a refined version of number 1. I actually like this one kind of. I'm not gonna lie. So I'm going to go over it. I kind of like this one. But the number of bots you would get is 8. And what I like about that is that obviously the more bots you have, the better chance, the more money you're going to make in general, right? Like obviously like it creates more risk because, you know, it gives you more opportunities for some, you know, something to happen and like maybe you get stuck in a trade. But overall, having more bots is better because it allows you to constantly be generating profit, right? So the more bots, typically the better. Your base order, $10. Your safety order is still $15. What can go wrong? So it's a little bit different. So this is an important thing to understand. So if there's a point where all 8 bots are 12 orders deep, so you see your safety orders are less. I think the previous example was 15. So you only have 12 safety orders deep on this one, you could run into issues. If this is too risky, again, you can lower your safety order down to the minimum, which is $10. And that would give you an average of 16 safety orders. Again, 16 safety orders, and there's a little bit of a difference. So if you go to the settings over here with me real quick, your take profit still 1%. You have 25 safety orders this time, and your 2.4% safety order deviation. So it is bigger. So you have still a larger window, still that 60% window and 1.05% safety order volume scale. So again, like your safety order deviation is larger, but you're getting a couple more bots out of this, which is usually like that's kind of a plus. So your pro, same thing. You're utilizing more of your capital, and you have 2 extra bots, so that's pretty good. And then same thing. Obviously, what's the cons? There's a higher risk of running out of available funds since your bots are not fully covered. And then you have this. So again, this is very aggressive settings by my standards. Again, I've seen some crazy stuff lately in Telegram and Discord, but these are aggressive by my settings, and I would be very cautious trading something like this. Now, if you have smaller capital though, like if you only have $1,000 or you have smaller capital, this is kind of more along the lines of where you would probably look to start. So either the previous example I just did or this one, because you need to you kind of having a smaller account, you need to build your account, right? So you might have to be a little bit more aggressive in order to make it worthwhile for not only your time, but you have the 3COMMAS fee, right? You have the $24.50 a month that it costs. You have your fee that you gotta make sure you pay attention to, right? So, but I'm going to go over it. Obviously, look at the caution sign. Be careful, please. This is aggressive in my opinion. But you still have 8 bots. You have a base order of $10, which is the minimum. Your safety order is $20. So this is the double base order, which I really like, that I use in my trading. But it only uses 20 safety orders. So that's a less safety orders than what I use. So again, a reminder to be taking profit in USD or USDT because you're taking, you want to be building your portfolio, right? I take all my profit in crypto, but I have enough USD that I'm comfortable with, that I don't want any more USD. I want to build my, I like to take everything in crypto. But if I had a smaller account, yes, I would probably take all my profit in USD just again so that I can build my overall account size quicker. So what can go wrong? Well, in this point, again, there are 8 bots that if you get 10 safety orders deep, you could run into problems. This is really a bad idea unless you have, again, I really encourage and I really strongly encourage people to have additional funds available on the side in case it's needed. Don't put all your capital to work. I would say that, be very, especially if you're brand new to this. And also in this scenario, because you only have 10 safety orders, technically, all of your bots, if you had all 8 bots filled 10 safety orders each, that's possible. Okay. It's possible. I mean, it's not super likely, hasn't happened very much, but I've seen multiple of my bots, and I have 44 bots running right now, but there was a decent amount of them, when Bitcoin's crashing, if it's coming down, sometimes I'll have multiple bots that are double digit, in the 10, 11, 12 safety order range, something like that. So just to keep that in mind, when you have, and there was a member in Telegram, actually, that we talked about today, and we brought this up, but when you have a parabolic altcoins, something like ENJ, Engine Coin, very recently had a crazy move up. When you have crazy moves up in very short amount of time, the retracement can be just as ugly. And that's what I always tell people to be careful with. Now, that being said, the ride up though, I'm sure anybody who was running a bot on Engine Coin or Chili's, like I've covered that, my goodness, you probably did great. So like you probably are, overall doing really, really well, but there's always that risk of the retracement. If Bitcoin, drops 5%, 10%, it's going to bring altcoins down with it. Then you have that risk of like a deeper retracement, right? So that's why your safety orders are so important. So if you go over to your settings over here, again, 1% take profit, try to keep it less risky in those terms, but you only have 20 safety orders. But you see your safety order deviation is 2.5%. Okay. So you have 50% room, 50% down move. And obviously like these things, the safety orders, I wouldn't necessarily put it at 3%. You could mess with that and like increase your safety orders. The only issue the thing that I do want to bring up to you is if the higher the safety order deviation, right? So the greater distance that you have between safety orders, the harder it's going to be for your bot to get in and out of trades unless things are incredibly volatile. Because that means that you have less, the space in between your orders are bigger. So it requires price to move more, if that makes sense. So the higher your safety order deviation is, the harder it's going to be for your bot to average down, right? You're going to need price to drop more to fill your orders. So that's the only thing I would say. It is, more safety order deviation. Yes, it's kind of safer because it gives you a bigger window, but you could get stuck in your trades for a lot longer because price isn't doing what it needs to get you out of your trade too, though. So keep that in mind. So if all safety orders filled in this instance, you would need $672 per bot. So what's the pros? Highest likely potential profit, assuming you survive. Okay, maybe I'm being a little crazy there, but I'm trying to get my point across, like how aggressive this really is. So you could give, you quick profits to build your funds up faster. Especially, again, I would take it in dollars. That way you're building your account, right? So it would, like, doing something aggressive like this would definitely set you up to build your account faster. Now, the problem with that is there's a high chance of getting wrecked, honestly. And this is something that you need to understand before you do this. And I really wouldn't do this. I wouldn't be overly aggressive with your trading bots unless you're experienced, like unless you're like having trading experience is a huge plus. You definitely, or if you just have funds, if you can put extra funds to cover it, then okay, like then you can be aggressive, right? But like for the people who are putting in $2,000 or whatever funds that you're putting in, if you're putting in $2,000 and you like that's what you have, be very careful doing something like this or anything that's even riskier than this. And obviously this type of setup requires you to pay much closer attention to your bots, which for me, I like the passiveness of the trading bots. And I talk about that in my previous videos. Like I look at this, like I think it's fun to click refresh. I'm sure everybody does it. You click your My Deals and you keep refreshing your page or on your phone or whatever, and you see the money that's kind of coming in. Like that's cool and all. But really, like how often am I adjusting my bots and stopping them and editing? No, I rarely do it. This literally is like very passive for me. I watch my bots. It generates profit every day and I just let it go. And that's why my settings are the way that they are. I, like low stress. That's how I like it. But when you're trading something this aggressive, you definitely have to pay much closer attention. And obviously the question that I know everybody is thinking throughout this video, as I'm going through each, different bot settings that you could use for certain scenarios, right? I'm sure everybody's thinking, how much can you make, using each of these settings? And I will tell you, just like I've said before, this is almost impossible for me to answer, even giving you a ballpark. Now, if you came into Discord and, like I will tell you, first of all, that Discord and especially Telegram has been really active. People have been like, I'm really shocked and impressed. I'm very impressed with Telegram, the trading bot community that is kind of being built there. people are sharing some really cool stuff. People are really active. And, you know, I mean, it's same in Discord. Discord's obviously larger, it's growing. But I'm just like really impressed with like what people like. People are really bringing a lot to the table. I must say, like, there's a lot of sharing going on, which is, I think, is amazing. It's just, if you're new though, please do your research. Like, please, you know, especially like everything I'm saying, don't take what I'm saying as gold or like the standard, right? Like, do your own research, make sure it makes sense to you. And I go back to the whole start out slow thing, right? But anyway, so how much money can you make? The reason why I can't answer this, and I can't, like, I wouldn't feel good about giving you a direct answer, is because there are literally millions of variables in how you would approach your trading, right? So first of all, like, are you, which bot are you gonna, like, which setting? Are you gonna be conservative? Are you gonna be aggressive? How aggressive? Like, because, and I'll tell you, like, even though I share my settings, right? Everybody uses different settings. Like, there's only a few people that I've come across that actually like copy my literal settings and run the bots how I set them. But like, it depends which altcoins you pick, because they're going to be drastically different, right? So like, if you're only running 6 bots, for example, and you're picking 6 different altcoins, you're going to have massively different performance than somebody else who's running 6 bots might pick, because I doubt you guys would pick the same 6 bots. So I hope you understand kind of what I mean by that. Now, like, I'm like, over time, and again, why I tell people to kind of take it slow is because I think it's important for you to go through the steps yourself and you see for yourself, like, the decisions that you're making, how does that impact the money that you make, right? Like, that's, and I'm happy to help any way that I can in Discord or Telegram. Like, if people want to bounce ideas off of me, like, everybody's already kind of done that. But like, as far as me saying, oh, you know, if you do this, then you're going to make $50 a day or $100 a day. Like, I don't want to say that, because again, the altcoins that you pick are going to be different. I can't tell you what's going to happen tomorrow with the market. I have no idea. The market could be still, like, the market could do nothing. And like, maybe we all don't make a lot of money, or the market could have crazy moves, kind of like what we're seeing, right? And your revenue could be huge tomorrow. I don't know. Like, that's why I'm hesitant to say, oh, well, on average, you know, like, this is what you could do, because again, we can't predict the market, right? I can't tell you specifically which altcoins to pick and start your bot at this specific time. Like, you get the point, right? But I'm happy to help, you know, kind of like give you an idea, or like, you know, if people want to share what they're doing and kind of what they're making, which is happening in Discord and Telegram, which I think is really awesome. Like, there's a lot of people sharing, hey, I made $200 today. There's somebody that said, I had my first $200 day today. That's amazing. And somebody else said, so what's your settings? And the person said, here, like, check this out. Like, that's what's happening in Discord and Telegram, by the way. So if you're not in there, get in there. I think it's going to be very helpful to you. But it's much better to share and talk about, you know, potential profits and whatnot in that kind of environment, because we can understand kind of where you're coming from, right? If I was to tell a random person watching this video right now that I've never met before, like, I can't really give you an idea of how much profit you can make, because it wouldn't be fair to you, to be honest. Like, it's not, you know, again, markets, they're different from day to day. Altcoins are different from day to day. It's really hard to say, you know, you're going to make this much money, because that's really not how it works. So anyway, sorry for that, but I did want to address that, because I know everybody's going to be asking me that still after the video. And just a quick snapshot of what's coming next. I've had a lot of people ask me when these videos are coming out, and quite honestly, it's when I have time to do them. Like I said, I took 8 hours of my day, now 9.5 hours of my day, to put just this one video together for you. But when I have time, I absolutely will do all these other stuff. Profit compounding, you know, advanced bots. I've had multiple people ask me how to integrate TradingView signals into 3COMMAS. I'm definitely going to go over that. A lot of people asking about short bots, bots that go short instead of long. I'm definitely going to cover that as well. And you know, there is one. Somebody had a really good question. So, what happens in a bear market? So when the market switches, right? Like, what are you going to do? That's going to be a killer video that you're not going to want to miss. I'm definitely going to do that. So you don't want to miss that video. And then lastly, leverage. That's definitely for advanced traders only, but I will be covering that at some point. And lastly, my social media page. This is where you can find me. Again, I'm pretty active on Twitter, Telegram, the new, that's kind of a new, that is like my direct one. But the Telegram community that we're building, I'm really excited about. Discord, I'm very excited about. Though that's where you can find me for Discord. There will be a link in the description below the video, and if you can't click on it for some reason, just copy paste it in your browser. But I think Discord, we're almost at 200 people. Telegram, we're at like 50, I think 55 people. So it's smaller. It's also newer, but there's a lot, there's a lot going on in Telegram. I will say that. So that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that I was able to answer that question that I've been asked so many times. And there's going to be a lot of, other trading bot videos coming out. I will get to all of that content in due time. If you have other questions, again, feel free to ask. Again, the community is growing. There's a lot of people who are able to actually answer these questions for me, which is neat. Like, people do a really good job. They're really invested in it. But thanks for watching the video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. Trade safe out there.